It's been 1 year since the opening of the Good Wolf, which is a boutique in downtown Las Vegas. In a previous video, we covered what it actually took to build this business. In this video, we're going to be going into the details as to how they have risen. Despite global mandated shutdowns, this business continues to do amazingly well, growing month over month. So in this video, we hope that the lessons that they share will help you build your business from the ground up. So if you're a new visitor to this channel, hit that subscribe button right down below. Let's get started. So we're on set. Sean, tell me a little bit about the Good Wolf. Where did the name originate from, and what is your guys' mission with this company?
The Good Wolf actually, it originated from an old Native American tale, and it tells a story of a grandfather and his grandson. And the grandfather is sharing a story of a battle within each and every human being that consists of two wolves, one being evil and one being good. The grandson asks the grandfather which wolf wins, and the grandfather replies with the one you feed. And the one you feed is your choice by feeding all the positive emotions that we can all control. So.
And then the bad wolf is obviously paying more attention to the negative.
Right. Is just kind of, is succumbing to all the negativity that might present itself in your world. But sometimes you just have to block it out or even acknowledge it, but still, turning those things into a positive story.
What would you say is your goal for every customer that comes in here? I've seen that you guys are really good at building relationships. So how do you go about building genuine relationships with people that walk into your doors?
So I would say our goal for every person that steps in would be just to remember us. I mean, we just want to make it memorable, They don't always have, of course, not every guest is going to buy something, and that's not really our objective with everyone who walks in the door. We just want to make sure that they had a good experience and they see some cool product, but they also understand that, hey, if they were on a mission for something, we're going to make sure they can execute that mission, whether it's referring to one of the businesses that have just opened down the street, and that happens by us asking genuine questions and genuinely being curious, but of course everyone comes in, we'll offer them a beverage, and we'll give them direction into what product we feel like would make sense, just based on what they have on in the moment, or just based on what just hit our sales floor.
So to expand on that a little bit, has building relationships and communicating with people always been your strong suit, or was it something that you built along the way through your work experience and through the relationships that you have built? If so, what tactical advice do you have for people that may be introverts that are looking for a way to start building new relationships in their life?
I would say it's definitely something I learned along the way. My first retail job, I was in high school, and I had a phenomenal boss that he just taught me all the simple things. Like when you see somebody in the morning, you say good morning. Now today in society, you have your cell phone everywhere you go. I would say put your cell phone away so you can be intentional, you can look people in the eyes. It's the smallest things that make the biggest impact. So just by saying good morning, how's your day going, small things like that. Start with that, and then you'll find yourself being more curious, like Sean shared, to be able to ask more genuine questions to get to know people. But yeah, I think just being intentional with your time, and if you're getting out of your car, have your phone in your purse or in your back pocket, so that you can walk by somebody and say hello. When you're at a restaurant, put your phone away so that way you can interact with the waiter or waitress. When it's your day off and you're going shopping in the grocery store, have a list on a piece of paper versus your phone. So if you do get a text message, you're not distracted. So little things like that, I think, will help you become a better communicator.
When I was younger, I wasn't the best at trying to start conversations or anything, and I read it in a book. It just said, start with smiling and saying hello. Like, if you do that enough, then you'll have the courage to start interacting with people. And I still remember the very first time, it was like anxiety, like, yo, I'm about to go talk to a random stranger, right? And I feel that today through social media and people growing up on their phones, they've kind of kept that anxiety bottled in. Like now they can't go out and express it because this is what they deal with, right? So for people that may be dealing with anxiety, or they may be introverts and now they also have anxiety on top of that, Like, what would you say is, in addition to just staying off of their phone and saying hello to somebody, what are things that they could do maybe at home or in the workplace on a regular basis that'll get them more comfortable with having conversations and building real relationships?
If they are nervous to have a conversation or interact with someone, treat everyone as if they were your best friend, because if you look at everyone as like they're a friend or somebody that you already have a relationship with, you're probably not going to be as anxious. So I would say, but just keep it simple. And then as you, like you shared, you smiled and said hello to everyone, get really good at that. And then add maybe one little thing to that, and then get really good at that and add another thing. And you'll find yourself being able to connect with people on a genuine level just by doing simple things daily.
And then in regards to remembering names, right? I mean, working retail, being a business owner, a retail store owner, customers will come through all the time. So how is it that you remember people that you meet, their names? Is there advice you have to meeting the people that you, to being able to remember the name of the people?
I remember one of my first favorite shopping experiences, and I'd been in the place one time. And then I went back the second time, and that person remembered my name. And I even asked them, I was like, I've only been here once. Like, how did you do that? And she was like, well, I remember you were going on vacation and you were getting these things for your vacation. And so she actually taught me that. Like, I was just like, oh my goodness, how did you remember my name? I haven't even been here in 3 months. And so I think when people come in, you have to really be listening. You have to listen to them, you have to learn about them. You can't be thinking about your things or being distracted. But remember something that they told you that you can either relate to, connect with, or that you're excited for them. And that always has helped me. And I think that is part of the experience. If you come in the second time and I can say, John, how are you? How's your little girl? How's your wife? How's Amanda? And you're like, I met this girl one time and she remembers my family?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's powerful.
Lisa, what do you got in new?
Yeah.
Actually, I'm looking for a birthday gift.
I'm gonna call my whole family. Come down.
Yeah, so I think just making sure you're listening, like that could be the biggest, and learn something about that person so you can connect with them.
And nowadays with people running online stores, they have a storefront, they might have an e-commerce. Is there any advice or tips to being able to remember the customers that maybe reached out to you on Instagram or through buying online? Do you guys take notes on them and leave little messages, or how is it that you build relationships online?
I think we just try to learn about them from their social media or what they're doing, as many stories people post or their feed. It's pretty easy on social media to be connected to people because that's what everyone does to communicate nowadays. So I would say that would be the simpler of the two, but when they come in face to face, to make sure like you're just really taking the same amount of time and being curious about the person so that you can remember them.
Of course, you guys opened last year, right? It's been 1 year in business, and right after you guys opened, the whole shutdowns happened, global mandated shutdowns.
Right.
How did that affect your store, and how were you guys able to overcome those barriers of everybody being too scared to leave home?
We wouldn't have opened the business if we didn't know that we could make it through something like this. Of course, when we made the choice to start this journey, we never saw this coming.
Right.
I don't think anyone could have ever predicted this. But at the same time, we knew that we weren't going to stop, and we were going to do what it takes to really grind every single day just to make sure that the connections that we've developed, we still get a chance to use those connections, invite them in a shop, But also it gave us an opportunity to really, one of like everybody else in the world, I would imagine, everyone got a chance to stop, maybe realign some of their priorities, take a breath of air, but also not get too comfortable in that time, and also figure out what they could do to take the next step, whether it's with their job or just their personal life, or if they own a business, what they can do to evolve and adapt. And I feel like the ones who made that decision to evolve are the ones that are going to continue, and they can be prepared for the next event that happens. But what we got an opportunity to do was develop some different habits between Lisa and I, and a lot of our product is now online. We also got an opportunity just to make sure that we're staying connected day in and day out, you know, personally, because I feel like a lot of our folks who shop us, they appreciate the attention and they appreciate the invitation. So it just helped us. It solidified, you know, what the importance of our store is, and we love the product obviously, and we love choosing, you know, amazing apparel and home decor and vintage product, but really I think people just want to feel connected to something, and I think Lisa and I really got a chance to live that.
You mentioned establishing new habits, right? So what has been the one thing that you guys do on a consistent basis that you have seen has created like a compound effect for being able to bring traffic and customers in? Like what is it, what's one thing that you do on a consistent basis that you would say has paid pretty good dividends in the long run?
Just making sure that every person that we meet and come in contact with in our personal lives, we get a chance to invite them in a shop, you know, just by word of mouth. You know, they get a personalized invitation from us if we get a chance to exchange contact information. But we are a representation of the shop everywhere we go, you know, and so we treat everybody as a potential guest or a potential shopper. What that means is just making sure we're feeding the good wolf inside and outside of these doors too. So if we meet somebody at a restaurant, if we meet someone on this, you know, while we're out riding bikes or something like that, you know, just to make sure, hey, they get an invitation into our world, and because you never know, this is something that, you know, a lot of folks haven't heard about yet, right. You know, but it could be something that a lot of people are looking for.
Since the last time we came, you guys have a lot more items, you have a lot more curated selections, you even have some thrifted goods here. What are some things that you currently stock that you're excited for, and things that you're planning to bring in for the holidays and New Year?
I would say everything is handpicked still. And we want to make sure like we have relationships still with the vendors that we're doing business with. As far as vintage products, Sean, Indy, and I go out of state to shop for all the fun stuff. So that's been a little bit tricky because right now there's not a lot of markets due to what's going on. So we're excited for that to get reopened so we can do some more vintage shopping. We figured out about 3 months into our journey that vintage would be really popular because everyone in the arts district, that's what they love. So we still want to stay true to our roots. Sean, India, and I love new fashion, the ever-changing, the evolution, all of that, but we also want to make sure like we have a little bit of something for somebody that they're coming in from out of state and they want to do a vintage piece. So we have a very small section. Going forward for holiday, we have a couple athletic lines coming in. We're doing a lounge line for girls. We're getting in a couple new brands that they just launched in the last couple of years that will hit in November.
Next year, you know, like what can we expect in year, you know, this is year 1 that you guys are coming on. By the time this video goes live, the 1-year anniversary would have just happened. What would you say would be an amazing transformation that may happen in year 2, looking back?
That's a great question. I think I learned this from our previous company. Every day we stay focused on today. And yes, we want big things for 2021, but we're gonna just keep fine tuning what we're doing right now. So still creating a great experience, being memorable, working hard for the guest, still meeting new people, and continuing to get better brands, and I would say depth in inventory too. But just staying focused on what we're doing right and getting better at that.
It's always good to catch up with friends, especially when they're willing to share the advice and the tactical know-how that they've experienced while opening a business. The reason we started this channel was because there was a lot of barriers to beginning something on your own. And we hope that this video has helped shed some light into some of the questions that you may be having about opening up your own store or even opening up your own online boutique. Now, to expand on a couple of the points that Sean also mentioned, I truly feel that they had their success that they've had because they've been able to understand a few things, which I'm about to share right now. The first is knowing who your customers that you're going to serve are going to be. Oftentimes people start up a new store or an e-commerce brand with just saying it's going to be for everybody. That's not how you should approach it. You should know who your core target audience is going to be and then select niche products from brands that they won't necessarily be able to find on Amazon or big box retailers. That leads us into the second point, which is going to be to create an experience, a shopping experience that is unparalleled, meaning that you offer one-of-a-kind products that may not be able to be found anywhere online or may be out of reach for everyone to actually get to see. What I mean by that is whether you're offering artisanal products that are handcrafted and made and can only be shopped at your location, or whether you're offering goods that are luxury pieces that are costing upwards of $10,000 in order to really create that hype for the store and to want to drive people to the store to check out those products that they could only see there and have a chance to buy. Equally important is in collaborations. Knowing that you should be collaborating with people in your community in order to not only raise awareness of what you're doing, but to truly and sincerely help the people that you're collaborating with. Whether it's through photo shoots, whether it's through live events, or whether it's through collaborations on branded products. You should always be thinking about how you could collaborate with your community in order to raise awareness of everyone in that community. That not only helps you and them, it helps everyone at large get to better understand and connect with what it is that you're doing. So I hope that you guys appreciated this video, and I hope that you've been able to take these lessons and that you apply them to your brand. As we mentioned before, we started this channel with the goal to help you better understand and navigate the industry, which was turbulent, has its ups and downs, and it also has a lot of people that aren't willing to open up and share exactly what they've been experiencing and what's been working for them. So if you enjoyed this video, I highly encourage that you share it with a friend and hit that subscribe button if you're a new viewer to this channel. And more importantly, we always have resources and links in the description of each video, which will continue to help you build your brand and business from the ground up. I'll see you guys on the next one.